live. I'm live. So my internet is working, which is becoming a, a nuisance. Anyway, so today is Tuesday, April 28th. Let me check. Let me look at my watch. Tuesday, April 28th, 9:04 p.m. April 28th. Dates are everywhere, calendars are everywhere, but my ADHD brain. I got my Weirdos Unite shirt on, aka also known as Van City Van Life, who's also known as the Chrome Project. And anyway, I am. Let's let's change the view a little bit and get more of my hats. I like that. My hats, my hat wall. That's like my little Quran prayer rug, my prayer rug. That was a gift to me. So, um, why am I here? I don't know. I just got back from a meeting and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get on and just chat. Maybe, hopefully, it's a quick chat. Maybe it won't be a chat. Last night I chatted at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I did not go to bed until 4 o'clock in the morning. Then I had to get up at 8:30. But that's just, the way it is. But there was something I was going to say. Oh, yeah, the internet. So I've had this internet company for over a year, never had an issue. And then all of a sudden, um, I was seeing a lot of their trucks around the area, like they were working on outside, you know, equipment. And then I noticed that on their website, they're talking about, you know, upgrading, faster speeds and stuff like that. So I'm like, well, they're upgrading their systems. And I had called, oh, I forgot my tea. I had called, and so then I noticed a couple days after that, like my internet kept going offline, going offline. I'm in the middle of a video conference, going offline. So I called, and then it was just an automatic, it was on the weekend, automatic, you know, message saying, we realize there's issues going off. All right, so they're upgrading their systems or whatever they're doing, working on it. And then it just kept happening every single day. And so every single day, I'm like, I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to give them a chance because I had great service. And then finally, I was like, all right, I'm going to call them. Well, then you couldn't get through the phone tree. It's just, you just couldn't get through the phone tree. And then I noticed their billing page was wrong, saying that my bill was due on April 14th when I paid it on April 11th. So that's all messed up. Um, and thankfully, I keep all my records. So then I just found a way to circumvent the phone tree, the automated tree, and I got through to a live person. And I know they're going to gaslight. You just know that's just a given. They're just going to gaslight you. Turn it off, turn it back on. It's this, it's you, blah, 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 blah. It's just a gaslighting technique. They have a script they go by. They're never going to take responsibility that it's something on their end, the whole deal. So I called and I'm like, yeah, it's been happening for a couple weeks, on and off, on and off. I know you guys, it seems like you guys are doing some upgrade to your systems. Also, your billing page is something's going on with the website. Well, I don't know anything about that. So then she said, I'll just restart your modem and your router. They can do it, turn the switch on and off and see if that helps anything. So, she did that and remotely, which I always find uncomfortable because they have access. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so then reset it. And she said, if it happens again, call back. Well, of course, in the middle of the night, because I'm up all night, it happened again. So then I waited and I gave it a couple hours today, and it happened again. And I'm like, so I called, and I just, because when she told me, oh, nothing's going on, we don't have any reports of anything, nothing's going on, when you know damn well there's stuff going on. So it's so frigging annoying. So anyway, so I called today, same spiel. Well, it's probably your equipment. No, it's not my equipment. Well, did you unplug it? I'm like, no, I was told I wasn't told to do that. They reset it on your end yesterday, and they said if it happens again to call back, and it happened again, so I'm calling back. Well, you should have unplugged it. Well, nobody told me to unplug it. It's the whole turn it on, turn it off. It's the whole same bullshit, you know. And I'm not seeing anything. I'm like, listen, I don't even want to deal with the gaslighting. And that I said out loud. I just don't even want to deal with gaslighting. Obviously, your guys are doing work on your equipment out there outside, because she's like, well, we can get somebody out there, but we don't know what time they're going to come. And, it could be any time between 9 and 5. Remember the cable guy with, what's his face? Oh, Carrie. Um, oh my God, Jim Carrey, the cable guy, which it could have been an SNL skit, but it was a whole movie about, 9 to 5. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to sit here and wait for someone to show up whenever, to just knowing that it's not my equipment because the equipment is fairly new. Oh, yes, we can see that it's fairly new, blah, blah, blah. And then you can hardly, barely understand them because their phone equipment is shit. Like, it's like they're up on their, mics and stuff. So I said, it's not my equipment. It's something going on with oh, we're not doing that. Like, I'm like, please don't, please. So she said, well, we'll send a tech out to check the stuff outside, you know. I said, yeah, because I don't have time. Like, we can send them Wednesday through Friday. No, I'm not. No, I don't have time for that. So if you can check the equipment outside, um, and also your billing page is well, that's on your end. No, it's not on my end. Well, if there's something wrong with your equipment, I'm like, I'm not even looking at the page tied to my Wi-Fi. I'm looking because before I said anything, I looked at the page through my laptop, through my Wi-Fi, and then I said, let me check on my phone data, not attached to my Wi-Fi, and the same message came up. So it's not anything, on my end. There's something wrong with your website. Like, they just hate to admit that it's something, you know. So I was like, something on your end, um, keeps going on and off, and it's getting annoying. And, if you're not willing to admit it, and you're not willing to take a look at your outside equipment because people were out here working on it, and then I'll have to, find an alternative, which I think I will anyway. I said I had perfect service for over a year, and now it's something's going on. I gave you guys a couple of weeks. I didn't say anything, but now that's too much. And now I had heard reviews and stuff about them being nasty customer service, and I didn't have that experience. Um, but now I did, because now they're being all condescending and being all like going to talk over me, and talk to me like I'm stupid, and But anyway, so that just exhausted me. I'm just exhausted from talking about that. But hopefully, oh, and then after I got off the phone, I did unplug it and let it sit for a while and plugged it back in. We'll see. But I think it happens again after that happens. So I'm like, I just got to look for an alternative. There's other choices. So, other towers. But now I'm just rambling. Yeah, well, that's why I said chit chat, rambling, random thoughts. Um, So I've been working because I found my tarot cards. So I've been doing my readings. And then I found a new, because of course, anything I speak out loud or even not speak out loud anymore, it's just my routine, turns into algorithm, turns into data mining. And then on my YouTube feed, it pops up. So then I found, what is her name? I liked her because she speaks my language. Because she calls the felon the felon. Hang on. And my teeth. My phone and my teeth. Oh, and I did have my lighting all set. before I got on for a change. I think the lighting looks pretty good, better than usual, except I see shadows and stuff, but better than normal. What is this right here? What are we looking at here? What is that? Oh, is it my tea? Oh, it's my tea. Oh, I feel like I'm stoned. Anyway, I didn't get much sleep. Um, what was it? Oh, yeah. I was talking about the tarot card, the card reader that showed up in my algorithm. And yeah, so my comment was, you had me at the felon. I'm now subscribed. My data mining YouTube feed brings to me like minded people. Love your coordination. So her name is, oh, let me go back. Oh, and then Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, her channel got hacked, which really sucks. I mean, I thought she said that, her banks shut down before they touched any of her finances in her bank because it was all tied together. But I'm hoping they didn't get anything, but it did cut into her revenue from her channel. Like, so that was cut off. But hopefully they didn't get any more than that. I mean, before it hit her bank, they diverted it or something. But I'm telling you, you got to watch because what it was is because she's getting up there. And so, sponsorships offers are coming through, and she's had a couple of sponsorships that she did connect to, and but that's how they get you. And usually, she said you can tell that they're kind of spammy. Comes in from a different email, comes in from a different country. They're pressuring you to get it, 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 and then you click on that link, and then that's it. You log in, that's it. Everything's gone. So she said, within hours, YouTube shut down her channel because they were trying to sell Bitcoin. They got into everything. She said she checked it out up and down. It was out of Brooklyn. Everything was seemed legit. She didn't click on any links. She went separate and did a research on them, and everything was legit. And then they set the deal, and then there was no rush. And then she went into the portal, and that was all she wrote. They got her. But and then within hours, she has some connections because of the place that she works. Within hours, YouTube shut down her channel, so stop that revenue, stop that, and it sounds like they're telling her she'll get her channel back. She has a backup channel because that's what she's on right now, and redirecting everybody over there. So it's gossip, rumor, innuendo, curtain switcher. And so, everybody's being driven over there. So she networked enough that people are helping her, and YouTube is leading her to believe that she's going to get her channel back. But from what I've seen, when channels get hacked, I don't care how big you are, that you don't get your channel back. There is one creator on here that not only did she not get her channel back, they are not taking that channel down. And people are reporting this channel left and right. And they are refusing to shut this channel down under her name. And I mean, most of her followers go onto that channel and report it. I've reported it a few times, and it's still on there, and it's horrible for her. Um, Again, she nipped it before they took any money. Like, all their bank accounts have to be shut down. It's a nightmare. Um, I hope Kathy gets her channel back because she was pushing on 40K, and she actually was going to her attorney to set up a whole business plan and everything because that's who she is. She works out in Manhattan. She works like she has a job or career, but she's very business. oriented and very like uh, with it when it comes to business plans, and she's a planner and setting up her own kind of media network. So hopefully she gets her channel back. In the meantime, she's using this other channel, but that sucks so bad when these creators get hacked like that. And then I'm like, oh my god! But they're not gonna. I mean, it's scary, but yeah. I mean, I don't have to worry about that. Um, I'll be lucky if I get to 100 subscribers, and you know, I'm in it just to chat, and I don't want to get into all the whole thing because it's like a drug. You do like because Kathy was just like she's like, yeah, it's no big deal. She's got her career and stuff. No big deal if something happens. Oh, I could do. But once they hook you in, and once you get that certain kind of level, and she was still kind of all like, oh yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. And then it happened, and she said she was just devastated. She's still devastated, and she's been working on it for the last 4 or 5 days. So yeah, it's sad. It's sad, all the hard work. So the channel that I just subscribed to for the tarot card readings, In the Company of Cards is the name of her channel. In the Company of Cards is the name of her channel. And she is, her description is, and I had to look it up, it's a very specific reader. I'm a black, I had the word, Lenormand, uh, Lenormand reader and psychic medium, Harvard educated. I began reading Lenormand, maybe that's what it is, Lenormand, more than 15 years ago. I've been a psychic all of my life, can read tarot and playing cards, but Lenormand, let me see if I can get a pronunciation on this. I'm good to my friend Julian. Julian, help me out. Julian, help me out. Mm. All right, let's see. Hang on, guys. Lenormand. And she said it in one of her videos, but let's see. Lenorma. Lenorma. So the silent of the D. Okay, so Lenorma. Lenorma. Okay. I would rather. Okay, this is not my Julian, but I'll take it. No, I don't want to click the link. I just want you to pronounce it. Lenormand. 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 And I actually think it's a Creole thing too. I just got a sense that in Louisiana Creole. So Lenormand, more than 15 years ago, I've been a psychic all my life, can read tarot and playing cards, but Lenormand lies at the heart of my divination. Reading on diverse global events, including politics, race, culture, and climate. And then she has some books that she wrote. But yeah, so I listened to her a little bit last night or this morning. And she had me at the felon because when she was talking about the felon, she was saying the felon. And I'm the only one that I know out of the videos that I watched that that's how I address him, as the felon in my comments everywhere, because he's a felon. Somebody, a maggot, was like, oh, that's like insulting me because I'm a felon. And, and I know it. It's like, yeah, well, then you're being a snowflake because I'm not calling you a felon and I'm not using it. And then somebody had in the comment, you're going to get sued. How dare you? Like, I hope he sues you. Well, about what? It's true. He's a convicted felon. He was convicted of 34 counts. He's a felon. So, no suing going on here. He's a felon. So, that's how I address him. So, that's why I said, you had me at a felon. But yeah, I was listening to her this morning. So, that's my new tarot card. I have Val Evans on, but mostly I did because her voice like lulls me to sleep. Um, you know, sometimes I use channels as my ASMR, true crime too. ASMR, true crime. I know I'm not alone in that, but I also know that's weird. But hey, listen, I've been doing ASMR my whole life before it was called ASMR. Alexa, what's the acronym for ASMR? It's like, oh, so meal.
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
ASMR isn't a specific kind, it's a sensation. It's a tingling feeling that
I
starts
know
in
what
your
it is.
scalp and can spread
Alexa,
down your neck and spine.
Alexa, 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 Alexa. Can you tell me what ASMR stands for? Oh, so now she's mad. Now she's not going to respond. Alexa, what does the acronym ASMR stand for?
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Meridian response. Okay. All right. Whatever. It's just that tingling feeling. You know, when somebody's brushing your hair, like you can feel it in your neck and your shoulders and through, like, like somebody's brushing your hair or somebody's doing something that just kind of like soothing noise. Yeah, that's ASMR. People like the whispering ASMR. ASMR whispering, I cannot do. Whispering is a bad trigger for me. Bad. With whispering and whistling. That would be my um, misophonia. Yeah. Alrighty. Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Now she's working her custody battle. She was found not guilty. Poor girl got shot in her chest by her fellow officer. Uh, this is out of Massachusetts. This is like Karen Reed territory. There's so much drama going on in that whole thing. Yeah, so what is Gavin? Gavin Fish is saying this is how Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper pulled it off. What happened to Nancy? Oh, okay. I guess I'll have to watch that. But there was just something. King Charles in D.C. Trump's royal drama. MTG versus manifestos and Harry Styles engage. Whatever. This is from Friends from Work a with Al and Tori. News and comedy. Huh? Never heard of them. Never heard of them. Probably in my feed because of Jolene Lunzer. And this is actually, I think, am I subscribed to them? Wait a minute, because these are all my subscriptions. I don't recall unless somebody changed their name. Let me see. No, I am not subscribed. King Charles in D.C., Trump's royal drama, MTG versus manifestos, and Harry Styles. Oh, is engaged. All right, so it's pop culture, comedy. I'll have to check it out. the White House correspondence dinner shooting, Trump's manifesto meltdown, and the 400K special ops gamble, and versus versus Jimmy Kimmel because he made that comment about the expectant widow, like an expectant mother. I mean, he's got like 30 years on her or something. So, you know, joke. And this was days ago before what happened at the dinner. Nora versus Trump, because of course Trump was being an asshole. She asked a question. Oh, she was reading a byline from New York Times about the manifesto that the young man wrote, the letter he wrote to his brother before the shooting. I feel so bad for him. Like Cole Thomas, he just, um, I just actually feel really bad. And he didn't shoot anybody. It was friendly fire, which people were mentioning. The Secret Service person who got shot was shot by friendly fire. His vest, thank God. But they're going to probably charge him like, he never shot. He never shot his weapon at all. The WHCD shooting, Trump's manifesto meltdown, and I already said that. I already said that. So I don't even know. What am I looking at here? It looks like the same creator and some of his things. Okay. Oh, I'm on his channel. That's why. Duh. Friends from Work show. So that's what it is. Friends from Work with Al and Tori, news and comedy. All right, I gotta check it out. I'll subscribe until I see that. I won't like it probably, but who knows? And then we got who's this? Oh, Jolene.
It's really hard when somebody makes up a lie about you and goes on and posts it everywhere. It's hard to combat because it's like,
Yeah, it was really hard to combat for Christina. Having all of you huge channels come at her with the lie, double down, video after video after video, saying she's a stalker, saying she did things she didn't do. You just completely went after her character and annihilated it, using your platforms to do so.
Yep.
And despite being shown the actual proof that you were wrong and Laura Mathias is a lying liar who lied, and I think you already knew that, you still have not apologized, taken down the videos, put out a retraction, done anything that like a normal, healthy, responsible adult and content creator would do.
it's really hard when somebody makes up a
That
lie
is
about
Web Sleuth. What's her face from Web Sleuth?
You got a couple thousand, you're like, I'm quitting my job, I'm now a professional content creator, this will last forever. I don't have to be more interesting, I don't have to change the.
it's really hard when somebody makes up a lie.
Oh my God, my brain just froze on Web Sleuths. Trisha. Yeah. Something wrong there. Something's off there. Gossip, rumor, innuendo, curtain twitcher. She's picking up on her second backup channel. But the problem with that, what happened with the other creator, no matter what she did, because the person got into her whole Google universe, even her backup universe channels or emails. So once that person got into one portion of the Google universe, it just spread like wildfire, and everything is attached to everything. So that's a lesson that we should all be looking at. Like we need to stop, because Google wants to be, like Apple or whatever. Everything has to be straight up Google. So it's like diversifying and breaking away And they do it sneakily too, because I was looking at something because I was doing Google Meet, which I never used because I didn't really trust it. Um, and sure enough, because I've done a couple of Google Meets recently, and you go in and it's like all these, like they flood you with all this, like an attorney, it would take an attorney a week to go through all the permissions. And then if you go and once you say, yes, I just want to get on just for this time, but then all that background stuff stays, all those permissions stay in the background. It's like, and then, so if something happens and you get hacked, then you lose all that. So it's just scary. Like I couldn't, it was Tracy from Adventures Over 50. Um, she was a van lifer and then, yeah. Um, she lost connection to all, like I'm talking not just Google, not just YouTube, not just the Google emails, to her Twitter account, her Instagram, her Facebook, everything. She lost everything. They have control of it all, and she cannot get it back. Now, if Kathy figures out how to get it back, because it sounds like the same deal. I think Tracy clicked on a link for a sponsorship, and that's how her trouble started. She said it was something with Minnesota had a data breach. I don't think it's that because they wouldn't reissue her a new Social Security card. So I don't think it was that data breach. I think it was she clicked on a link for a sponsorship and lost control of all of that stuff. Thankfully, her banks shut down. Like her banks shut her accounts down, and because what happened was she kept trying to go in and change her password, then they would change it back, and then it was just like, and that sounds like what's happening with Kathy, but I think she has more of a control over it. But I don't think she's going to get her big channel back because YouTube has to untangle all of that, and can they untangle all of it? I don't know, and just crazy because I think you know, I would think that if you're starting to get revenue from YouTube, your AdSense, super chats, and all that other stuff, that you don't ever tie it to your main bank account, that you tie it to a bank account that has absolutely nothing to do with any other of your business, like your real work life or your bill paying or whatever, that it's completely separate. You go open up a new bank account, not tied to anything. But I think with Kathy, it was tied to everything, her accounts, her son's accounts, everything. She mentioned quickly that she didn't, that the bank shut it down before any kind of financial devastation. But then she mentioned in another video that there was financial devastation. And it might just be that she lost any revenue from YouTube for that day or week or whatever. But that's scary shit. Like I would just do a little, like I would load it up on one of those little Visa accounts that you get, almost like a burner account, like you do with the phones. Nothing tied to a bank account in your real life, you know. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to be like. It's scary. I mean, it could happen to anyone, even people who are not tied into all this. It could happen to all of us, even if you're low key, minimal digital footprint. It could they can get us all, and that's what's scary. And to go 100% digital is not a good idea, and that's what they're driving everybody towards, because the whole system will implode on itself and all our money is stuck with them. We don't have access to it, which is crazy. Yeah, my dad, when they were forcing him to, well, no, Fred, it's going, no, we're not going to be mailing a check out, because then he would go to the check cashing place and cash it there, he's old school. No, no, don't worry. We're just going to direct deposit in. So you have to, set up an account. or a card or whatever, but he had to set up a bank account, and he was pissed. He did not want any kind of digital footprint. So what he would do is, the day it was in there, he didn't pay anything out of there. The day it was in there, he went to that bank. He was waiting at the door and took every penny out of it. And I guess if you have direct deposits in some of these accounts, senior or whatever, you don't pay a fee. Took it all out. Didn't use it for anything. Everything was cash with him. But yeah, because he was born in yeah, he knew what could happen. So that's why, like, the first thing all the preppers say is make sure you have a stash of cash, that you have access to in case the shit hits the fan, because you just never know what could happen. And if you lose access to that, and you can't, you lose access to it. So you lose access to your cards, you lose access to everything, and you have zero. So if you have a little bit of stash, then you can, operate until things get straightened out. Because the banks are pretty good. They quickly kind of recover your money and all that, and keep an eye on it. But I'm kind of like my dad. Like, I don't leave much in my accounts. In and out. Boom. So everything's locked down for me. But they still can bypass it. But it makes it a little bit harder. But it is locked down. Plus the fact I'm poor, so you're not going to get anything from me. I'm not worth it. Which is fine by me. But anyway, I don't know why the reason I got on here. I wanted to talk about something. And I can't remember what. But yeah, I'm not ready to do the Constitution because it's not why I got on, but I do want to get on and continue with that and get it in layman's terms so we understand it as I'm going along, because it's nuts. It's nuts. I mean, I'm sure it's great because it built it set up our government and stuff, but it's nuts. So I want to understand it, and everybody should want to understand it. But you don't appreciate it when you're going to school, even in college, like I've been going to school every decade of my life. Every single decade of my life, I have been in school. Even though in high school I cut out as much as I could. I was a juvenile delinquent, but I still was going here and there to the classes I liked. But yeah, I have been going to school every single decade of my life, and I will continue to do that. Taking a little break right now, but I will continue to do that. And I did not appreciate, well, I loved my history class in high school, and it was like government/history, and he was a young teacher, and he dressed like us, but he was not a creep. He was not a creep. He loved history and he loved geography, and so you could, when you have a teacher or a professor who loves the subject that they're teaching, it is contagious. My art history professor, I adored her. She was tough as nails. You didn't F around with her. But she was so passionate about art history that it was just so contagious. So I took all her classes in college. This is recently. And so it was kind of turning me, because what she went to school for was business. She went for, accounting or business or whatever. And so she had to take a gen ed class, and it was art history. So she selected art history. She fell in love. She said, I am not creative. I don't have a creative bone in my body. I fell in love with art history, and she changed her major, and she's an art history professor for like 20 years now or more. And the thing is, it's like it's funny, doctor. I always called her doctor because she earned that doctorate. Um, you that is your art. Your art is teaching art history. Like you create this vibe and this atmosphere of like the passion that you feel and you're in the zone. That is art. Because I'm like, no, I can't play musical instruments, I can't paint, I can't, but you can teach. That is art. Anything that you create is art. Like putting on your makeup, if you wear makeup, art. Doing your hair, art. Creating your space, designing your space, art. Everything that we do in our daily life is creative. We're creating our space, we're creating our aura, we're creating our vibe, we're creating like situations. So we're all creative. Every single last one of us are creators. We are. And it's just a natural human thing. Um, but yeah, she like I loved her, and I wanted to just before I moved, I was going to just audit her, not retake the class, but audit the classes I already took with her because when you're in a class and there's pressure to get your work done, you miss out on chunks of it because you're so focused and stressed on passing a test or writing a paper or whatever. So you miss out a lot. So I wanted to take it as an audit. I wanted to audit a class so I can just enjoy it, and just pick up more. I still have my art where I pulled it out the other day because who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody, and did I ever talk about that? I did a fundraiser this weekend, and we raised $910 for an association. It was great. Was talking to somebody about. Oh yes, during that event, I met a woman, and she had to be. She I seemed like she was my mom's age, maybe a little older, and she was educated at Columbia University, and she was talking about the artist uh, that she um, came in contact with, and and it was back in modern art time frame, and so that's why I know she's like close to my mom's age or a little older. And it was so interesting to talk to her. And she's a writer, and she writes little history things. And so she's supposed to send me an email, and so I can read her writing because it's not public. It's like she does scholarly articles and stuff like that, and bylines or whatever. So she's going to send me um, some information on an artist, a local artist. So that was part of the eight in modern art times. So interesting. Like, and I have some really cool books that I rescued from the library at school. They were giving on the campus. They were, phasing out some books in there. So when they hit the, oh no, this was Mary's room. Where did I get this book? Oh, I know. Oh, I know where I got it. They were having a sale. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I'm like looking at the old library card. Oh, okay. Oh, I wish they had the year on it. Oh, here, hang on. Does it? Because there's the borrowing card. Hang on. Do they have the stamp on it? Do they have the year? I hate when they don't have the year. 53? 1953 for real? This is the expressionism. So I was able to get that from that. Hang on, let's see. Let me see. But yeah, my art history book from her class is like this thick. Now, when I purchased it before class start, because it was a required book, but then they moved into this kind of digital learning software platform that they were trying, where the book was digital and you can access it that way, and it was included in the tuition. But I kept it because I was like, no, I'm keeping it because I like it and it has. I'll pull it up, but so this was first published in Great Britain in 1979. 19 originally published as Expressionismus. Expressionismus in 1976. From Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Oh, but I was trying to figure out, so it wasn't 53 because this was not even published until. Why not put the year? Like, I always put the year on everything. Did I say today's date? I did, right? April 28th, 2026. Because that's felt like a little bit of a pet peeve of mine on events and stuff. A lot of times they don't put the year. They just put the day, the month, and the date, and it's like, put the year, please, because you're not going to reuse it. It says 53, but this was not written in 53. But yeah, so just there's Vincent Van Gogh, 1888. So yeah, so I got that from that one library, not from the college library, from another library. But things like that. But hang on. And this is not even all of it. This is just a snippet of it. So Art Through the Ages by Fred Kleiner, and it is that thick. This thing weighs about 50 pounds. And so the software program that they were trying out was called Cengage. Yeah, I guess they didn't like it. They used it for a while and they didn't like it, and then they tried another platform. I forget what it was called, and she hated it. Like, and students hated it. I didn't mind it. I kind of liked it, but I like. So this has 1,200 somewhat pages. 1,235 pages or whatever. Yeah, so they're talking about data. We were talking about the 8, but they're not in here. Or they were. But yeah, so it goes from art in the Stone Age. And you got Mesopotamia, Persian. It goes all the way to the Roman Empire, antiquity, Japan, China, High Renaissance, the Renaissance, contemporary art worldwide, modernism and postmodernism, South and Southeast Asia, China, Korea, Japan, Native American cultures, Oceania, African, 1800 to 1980. Yeah, so they have Impressionism, Post-Impressionism. I mean, it's not really like, it doesn't, like, it's a lot, but it's not every single piece. They could have had more on, the chapters are shorter on the Asian, African, and Native, of course, because, it's a global history. But they focus a lot on European artists, and you know, a lot of those guys were PDFs because they just were. There's a lot of issues, but I mean, it was great. I love the classes. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say hey, and I'm not going to talk about the Constitution. I'm going to save that for maybe this weekend, and then eventually get into my Frederick Douglass autobiographies, books that he wrote about himself, his escape, and just other things. Oh yeah, um, you know, Mother Mary, Virgin Mary. My thoughts on that, my feelings on that. But I think, oh, do I have a Rembrandt lighting here? A little bit of Rembrandt. Maybe not. But I kind of like the lighting. I think I got it right this time. I might pop on later. It is 10 o'clock. But I got to go watch some of my shows that are probably on. So we got Lemon Drops. I saw enough of that. I do watch Father David. He's an Episcopalian priest who's very outspoken about Trump and his administration. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, something's going on with that custody hearing. I hope she gets her baby. That was such a horrible story. The camera was in an accident. That's Gavin Fish. Oh, and then right now, oh no, they already finished. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and Paul from reporting live from my sofa. They had a live, but all the creators that she networked with for the last, she's a newer channel, and she worked hard and networked with a lot of bigger creators, and they're all helping her out. So that's a good thing. She works in Manhattan, so she has a lot of connections. She actually is really good friends with Sherry Shepherd. Um, so, what else is in my feed? I got Billie Holiday, my favorite. These Foolish Things remind me of you, Mercury Records. 15 years ago. Whose channel was that? Uh, Around Midnight TV. Okay. Look at her, Billie Holiday. What a shame. Like, she had a rough life. Um, Boston Globe reporter who went viral, Emily Sweeney, extended it. What did she go viral for? What did she go viral for?
Oh my God, thank you. For people who've been
Oh,
dating you for years.
Emily Sweeney.
Yes.
She's a Boston Globe reporter, and she doesn't have the reporter, like when they go to journalist school or anchor school, if they're going to be on, they all like talk the same, right? Doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, where you came from, what neighborhood, they all have that monotone, that very like bland. Uh, I hate that. I hate that. Like that journalist voice. Ugh, I can't stand that. Like it just, and it's a white thing, just so everybody sounds alike. And then if there's like no individualism. Like they say they do it because so this way it keeps it neutral because you're just there to report. Like really? Like, so you all have to sound the same. It's just like every town USA, any town USA, because now you drive through these states and everybody has a strip mall and there's Subways and Burger Kings. And I abhor that there are fast food restaurants in Europe. I abhor it. McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, Starbucks. No, no. No, because it's just taking away from the local community and their own little shops. Don't let it poison, because I grew up in Brooklyn, which is very European. Like everybody had their own little shop, the John the Butcher and the bodega and the bakery and the deli and the Jewish deli and the pork store and the meat store and maybe you had a little grocery store, but it was mostly like for canned goods and maybe paper goods, but all your little specialty stores, your fruit stands and all that. It was very European, like shopkeepers, everywhere, a candy store. And there really was no room for the big box stores when it started coming in. But like, then you go outside of New York, and then it's like all these, superstores and all the same stores, chain restaurants. Like the first time I got exposed to that, I was like, what is this? And um and they think that it's a good thing that every place that you go, it's the same makeup of these chain stores, and mass production and no individuality, the same, just like in journalism speak, the same. It's just so Orwellian. It's so like mass, controlling the masses, like what did they call it in George Orwell's, like the speak, it's just ugh. And so every now and then when I see like a Burger King or a McDonald's, I'm like, oh my God, please no. The food is horrible, and it's I know that some of the stores in Europe may do their own little spin and maybe, but it's horrible. It's horrible. Horrible. Just keep your own individuality. Ugh. But anyway, so this reporter went viral because when she was giving her report, she was on the scene somewhere, and she just had her Boston accent, and she was just talking like, you know, but because that's what's happening. Because even in Brooklyn, like I lost a lot of my Brooklyn accent because I moved around a lot when I got older and I moved around and wanted to travel. And so then, and then also the nuns, the few years I spent in Catholic school, you get cracked upside the head if you were talking like you had marbles in your mouth. So they wanted to straighten out your speech. So, but taking the character out of a person, and then, but I'm noticing that, like, it's that, like, even the generations of, you can't tell where people are from because their speech. It's just sad to me. But anyway, she didn't conform. She has her Boston accent. She was telling her story, and she went viral, and people loved it. Like they loved it because it's so refreshing that finally, like, there's a station that's like allowing, because it wasn't, it's not an independent, it was a station allowing for a reporter to be able to talk like she's from the neighborhood and allow that, and not like, it's just a shame. You lose your individuality. You lose your culture. You lose it, and that's what the foundation of America is: lose stripping culture from people, stripping them down, assimilating them, which is wrong. It's terrible. And America was never great, wasn't founded on greatness. Foundation is horrible, but we were trying to get on a path to redeem the the foundation it was founded on, and to bring it to an inclusive, place, and a individual place, and allow for cultures and language to survive and be sustained instead of stripping everybody of it. Ugh, I don't understand. I think what it is, I understand, is because they want control of the masses. So religion was controlling the masses. That's slipping away. So they got to find other ways to control the masses, and everybody be sheeple and follow like sheep. But so sad. And I lost, like there's so many languages in my family. The native tongue of this land was stripped. The native tongue of my Irish side stripped. Um, the the French stripped. I mean, because when some of my immigrant side of the family moved here, they assimilated and they were like, oh no 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 no, speak English, no 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 no. So the language wasn't passed down, which is so horrifically sad. It's so horrifically wrong, and it dumbs people down because all the other countries, they not only have their own native tongue, but they learn English as well. And so I love it that there are cultures here that it is non-English in the home, and then you do your English, and then you can do your mix when you're out there. But like, I love it. Like Perez Hilton is an example, and I know other Latina um, families that do it. Spanish is the first language at home. Born in America, you're speaking Spanish at home, and so um, his children first language is Spanish. And even though they were born here, and he was also born here, I think, you know, um, but Spanish is their first language. And then it wasn't until they began to go to school that, yeah, they're going to incorporate his mother, who takes care of the children, um, Spanish, and you know, and I love that, and that needs to stay that way. And whether it's Spanish or French or German or Gaelic or whatever, Italian or what African, whatever language, Swahili, whatever language, or Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, whatever language your descendants and ancestors come from, you should be not be afraid to keep it and use it. And then, you know because it Americans that have been here for generations, that can't speak another, they're dumb. Like, we're dumb. Like I wish that I could. My grandmother was so afraid for the children to speak another language, that they would get well, they already got, because they were mixed, being black and indigenous, that, they're already ostracized, and racism. I guess she didn't want to compound it with them not speaking English first. So they were afraid, like they spoke the language in secret, and it didn't really get passed down. But now the younger generations in my family are picking it back up, picking up the different languages of our ancestors and descendants. So, I mean, I for a while there, I spoke French and understood French until I was 10. I also spoke Spanish for a while and understood it for a while in my teenage years, but then you don't use it, you lose it. And I really would like, before I leave the earthly soil, to be able to be fluid in another language. Um, and it's not easy. And but I wish I could go. I mean, one of my plans, one of my goals is to learn another language, in of my ancestors and descendants, through immersive learning. So, maybe just got to hold out hope that I can learn my um, ancestors' descendants' uh, language. It's there because I did it, when I was younger. Um, but the older you get, the tougher it gets. But it can be done. People have done it. So, I'm rambling. I don't even know if I'm live. Am I live? It's ticking along, so it must be. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm on an hour. It was supposed to be much shorter than that, but I can't help myself. It's just Chet and Kathy. But I may come back. I may not come back. But next time, not tonight, but maybe here in the next few days, I'll do the Constitution because I'm really excited about learning that. And not only learning, just understanding it for real understanding it, not a bunch of gibberish. But anyway, that's all I got for right now. I mean, I got more, but I'm good for right now. Anyway, have a good night. Might see you in a few, may not. See you in a few days. Have a good one. Bye. End of stream.